Hi, I'm Cassidy King, and welcome to Sports Goombahs Presents Fantasy Football Wednesday. Fantasy Football Wednesday is brought to you by Castle Public Adjusters. Get the edge on your insurance company. Avoid the hassle. Just call Castle. 215-752-1237. Or check them out at castlepa.com. And now, live from the 515 studios, Sports Goombahs present the expert, the one and only, the nation's number one fantasy football man himself, Mikey the Wall, and his crew.
Thank you very much for that that great introduction. I was anticipating my guru, which I didn't get. I also didn't get anything audio or video-wise over here as well. Thank you very much. We are live. And you were tuning into the SG Fantasy Football Show. I am your host, of course. I'm Mikey the Wall. I'm joined by none other than some new faces.
Kevin Finnecane.
Dante.
That's
Andrew.
it.
That's it.
Big D. Big D repping the Chiefs. So the reason, it's going to be myself, giving my rankings, the winners. I always give out winners. Kev will be doing the same thing. Dante was banned from creating rankings. He showed me before the show his rough draft. He had Alex Smith, number one quarterback. He had Chase Daniel, his number two quarterback. Not on the Chiefs roster, but for overall fantasy purposes. After that, I said, Dante, you're cut. So Dante is now banned. He's just going to be giving us his insight on how awful our picks are because he's 4-0.
That's right.
He tells us every day.
Every single day.
Every hour on the
fantasy
hour.
league. That's right.
And as you know, I don't normally wear football jerseys. I don't want to be that the fat guy in his mom's basement talking about sports. I'm usually just that fat guy in a basement talking about, and not in a jersey, but I'm just talking sports. I'm not that guy with the Eagles jersey every week, new one. I don't have a closet full of them. But with Dante being it, Dante was a college football player. I don't want to be shown up. So I did wear my jersey. This is my authentic Ben Salm Owls jersey. Yes, I did. I did play one game. It was a junior varsity game. I was a kicker. I did the second half kickoff, and that was it. That was a wrap on the career. I hurt my quad. I pulled the old Josh Goby, so that was the end of my career. But I wanted to represent so that I'm not outgunned by Dante and his football.
Well, you might have a chance to get in the NFL with the kicking these days. God.
Take a guess what position Dante played, by the way. He's actually a quarterback. Believe it or not, yeah. But before we get I can't think of these guys. SGShow.net is what you're watching. Give us a call, 267-563-2893. It's 267-563-2893. Give us a call. Give us a text. You can tweet us at Sports Goombahs on Twitter. We had a question of the day. I'm going to throw it out to you now. Let us know. Throughout the show, you can chime in at any point. Who has been the steal of the draft, steal of the season so far? 2 weeks ago, we did. Who's been the bust of the draft, bust of the season? We had some votes for Lamar Millers and DeMarco Murray's and Andrew Luck's, and actually all three of them still haven't turned it around yet. So who's been the steal of the draft so far? We'll answer that one later. With that being said, let's get right into our rankings here. Quarterbacks. Week 5 is what we're prepping you for. And my number one quarterback is, like I said, it's going to be every week, is Tom Brady. He's going to be in a dome. He's going to be against a bad team in Dallas. Sorry, Jim.
They're not bad.
They are bad.
They're getting their good defense back, too.
They're bad. Yeah,
they're getting Hardy back. They're getting McClain back. Lee's come back from concussion. Their defense is going to be good.
And they're getting the criminals back. I'll give it. They're getting the criminals back. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers. You can plug Rodgers in 1 or 2 every single week. He's playing at home against St. Louis. Number 3, Peyton Manning. He's been pedestrian at best, but he's playing at Oakland this week. Oakland obviously isn't awful, but it's still at Oakland. And again, keep in mind, we have some bye weeks this week. So you're not going to hear some of the names that are out there. We have Carolina, so Cam Newton, who's been hot, not going to be there. Luckily for you, the Dolphins are on a bye week, so you can. It's
a huge break.
Lick your wins on that one.
Nobody has to start Lamar Miller, and nobody has to start Tannehill anymore. The Vikings are also on a bye week, so Adrian Peterson owners actually go against a guy who has Adrian Peterson.
It's a nice matchup.
Pretty solid for you.
Yeah, it is.
He probably made the schedule.
Yeah, I did. I created. It took weeks to analyze.
Figured that.
Yeah. And also the New York Jets really doesn't affect anybody unless maybe Brandon Marshall. Ivor got a good game, but that's who's not playing. So that's why it's gonna be a little thinner at all these positions now as we keep going on. You're not gonna have the bulk of your full roster all the time. So with that being said, number 4 quarterback Drew Brees. He came back from his injury. Looked solid. I think he actually ended up being like the number 2 quarterback in football, thanks to C. Spiller. But he's playing at Philadelphia, and we all know the Eagles are not the greatest team in the league. Number 5, I have Phil Rivers. He's at home against the Steelers. Why not? Number 6, Eli Manning's at home against the Niners. The Niners have been brutal. The Niners have been absolutely awful.
I love Eli.
Number 7 is Matt Ryan. He's at home against the Redskins. The Redskins' defense has actually been pretty surprising.
Is doing very well this year.
But he's in a dome, and he still has Julio Jones, and he has the now Studley Leonard Hankerson,
and I called that 2 weeks ago.
Wanted by everyone.
3 weeks ago.
Who, by the way, I believe it was last week. I'm going to pull it up to get the numbers or the facts on this, but I believe Leonard Hankerson was my sleeper receiver of the week last week. I think he went up for 100 and some yards. So
did go over 100 yards last week.
That's what happens when Roddy White takes a nap on the 50-yard line the whole game.
Roddy White is the
right. I don't even understand.
I think Roddy White is 0 targets.
Roddy White has 2 catches the last 3 weeks total, and in all 3 weeks he was in my fantasy lineup.
Yeah, me too.
I don't.
In my other league, yep.
I forgot this week. I'll admit, I just completely forgot to take Roddy White out. I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy answering, tweets on Twitter up until 1 o'clock. Number 8, Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford, 3 touchdowns last week. I know Cash is not a fan of that. He would rather have Nicky Foles right there. Number 9, Andrew Luck. This is the lowest I've had him all year. If he plays, I'll probably bump him up, but still, we're not sure yet. He's banged up. He's playing at Houston. Houston has been awful.
And what happened with their defense?
I
even drafted their defense, and to think that team isn't playing up there. You got Romeo Cornell's defense coordinator. Obviously, we know he's not the greatest.
He's a better coordinator.
He's a good coordinator, but better than obviously a head coach.
He had the best.
The offense going 3 and out so often doesn't help, though.
Yeah, true. I mean, to have that front.
J.J. Watt's name mentioned this year.
It doesn't.
It's
just not really like it was.
He's been killing it though.
I mean,
he's having a solid season.
He's having a solid, but
the rest of the team and defense.
Jadeveon Clowney on the one side, and you have
that
Watt on the other side. You got Will Fork in the middle.
Wilcock.
Wilcock. You got Wilcock in the middle, and then you have Cushing. You got Cushing. You have Jonathan Joseph, right?
Yeah.
The cornerback. There's so many solid guys there. I just don't understand that. How they could be that abysmal.
They need Foster to get back healthy.
But they
help their offense stay on the field to get the defense.
They've been getting lit up week after week. So I've been saying it for 5 weeks now, or this is the 5th week now, where I've been saying, Luck will bounce back. Luck will bounce back. He hasn't done it yet, and each week I keep putting him top 3, top 5, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do it this week because he hasn't done it. Granted, he didn't play last week, and the ageless Matt Hasselbeck looked ageful. Luckily, they snuck out there with a win. Number 10, Carson Palmer. He's at Detroit. Detroit has a solid defense. They kind of snuffed out Russell Wilson last week. And Palmer, he's been solid this week, and it's a dome, so I'll roll with Palmer if I had to. Number 11, Russell Wilson. He's at Cincinnati. Actually, these two guys are playing each other. Number 11, Russell Wilson at Cincinnati. Number 12, Andy Dalton at home against Seattle.
Jesus.
What?
I still haven't heard Alex Smith.
You're not going to hear.
Well, I'm just wondering. Hello.
It's not going to be heard from my list.
You're not going to hear Alex.
They're playing the Bears at home.
Spoiler alert. Not coming off mine.
Jesus.
If I had to go with a sleeper pick, no, it still wouldn't be. Yeah, exactly. Put one in the end zone first. You can throw all the passing yards to Mac and you won. Put one in the end zone.
If we rank 25 quarterbacks, you still may not hear Alex Smith.
465 yards in total offense. It wasn't like they weren't going anywhere.
Well, obviously they're getting close enough, but you know what? Yards only get you so many points in fantasy. You can throw for 400 yards in fantasy.
I got 24 points at Alex Smith this past week.
Did he rush for a lot of yards then?
No, he didn't have any touchdowns, but he still had 24 points.
You playing a point per yard?
Bonus leagues.
Oh yeah, bonus. He plays in a point per completion league. I forgot about that.
Bonus.
That's my quarterback this week. Kev, who you got?
All right, so number 1, starting out same as Mike with Tom Brady. At this rate, you got to keep him number 1. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers. Number 3 is where we differ a little bit. I've got Matt Ryan versus Washington.
Fair. I'm giving Washington's defense a little more respect.
Washington's front 7 is respectful, but their D-backs are poor at best.
They did just get lit up.
They did get lit up by Sam Bradford.
Lit up by Bradford last week.
I do like that.
They got lit up by Bradford with Matthews and Huff and Austin at receivers.
Coop is back.
So I don't know who's going to cover Julio.
Oh, yeah, mind you, Huff, he's having such a great year, isn't he? The guy's been talking so much shit, and he hasn't done a damn thing all year.
He was good in college.
Oh, God.
He was a stud in
college.
Yeah,
and where at?
Oregon.
Oh, no wonder why. Way to go, Chippo.
Sam Bradford is what his record
Way to go, Chippo.
This is not a Sam Bradford show, okay? We already battled it out on Monday, which, by the way, you can check out every Monday, 9 p.m. This website, me, Cashy, and there's another guy here, right?
The chef.
The chef, that's right. He's here. I forgot.
Number 4, I went with Drew Brees at Philly. Number 5, I've got.
I appreciate it when you clear. If you get closer to the mic, when you clear your throat, could you do that, please?
I'll do that next time.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
I've got number 5, Peyton Manning at Oakland.
I was joking. There it goes.
Number 6, Eli Manning against San Fran.
All right.
Number 7, Phillip Rivers versus Pittsburgh.
So our top 7
Top
have all been
7,
the same.
yeah. Andrew Luck, I put at 8 if he plays. Don't really like Houston's defense, like we just said.
Yeah. But it's and I mean, Luck will eventually he will bounce back. It's just like
Yeah.
Jeremy Hill's
It
been
is
awful.
Andrew Luck, so
Jeremy
you have to expect him to
Hill's been awful for 2
put up
weeks.
good numbers
so,
at some point.
So what do? I finally said, I'm going to bench him, and he scored 3 touchdowns. So don't bench Luck the week he's
I
going to bench
did
him.
not bench Jeremy Hill.
Yeah, of course.
Loved every second of that.
So
Did you? I'm sure you all love that one.
So don't be the guy benching Luck. The
Oh yeah,
week
he
benched
scored
him,
against the
so.
Chiefs 3 times, right?
Yeah, that was it.
Thanks, guys. I don't know what you want me to say to that. There's really nothing I can say about that.
Number 9, I have Carson Palmer against Detroit. Number 10, this one you guys will really enjoy, Joe Flacco versus Cleveland.
He's awful.
Jesus
He is
God.
not awful at home,
No,
though.
he's not awful when you trade for him. He's not awful when you trade him away and get something back. You know.
You traded away Joe Flacco and got something.
Yes,
I
he
did. I got
Yes.
Jason Witten for that.
Jason Witten. Yeah, thank
Stupid.
you. Aquan Bolden and Joe Flacco for Jason Witten. He got.
Quan Bolden has been relevant in 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. So is Flacco.
See, this is what happens when you're on the trade committee of the league and you
Yep.
make the trades.
Exactly my point.
I didn't have to approve this one. It was
Yeah, he-
approved
yeah.
without
You're like
anyone's
It
vote.
was sent right through.
He's like a little Goodell over here. Who's your last one?
Number 11 was Russell
sorry.
Wilson, and 12, I've got Tyrod Taylor at Tennessee.
Wow. No Alex Smith on either.
No, I told you you're not going to hear
Yeah.
that.
Unreal.
All right, my sleeper pick of the week. I actually gone in the other end of that last game. I had Marcus Mariota against Buffalo. Mariota, I actually almost put him in the top 12, but I don't know. I couldn't bounce out Palmer, Luck, Wilson, or Dalton or my final 4. But I do like Mariota this week if you have to, if your starting's on a bye. My bust of the week, which was a lot of people were high on last week, but that's Derek Carr against Denver. Denver's D is just ridiculous as right now.
Yeah, they got it right.
So if you have Carr, please don't start him.
I agree with you with the bust of the week on Derek Carr because Denver's defense has been lights out all
Yeah.
year.
It's crazy.
My sleeper of the week would be Joe Flacco. That's why I ranked him so
I
high.
could tell. You must obviously be behind him. Well, I was going to waiver wire. There really is nothing waiver wire wise in quarterback. No one went down to to be able to pick up somebody else. So there's really nothing in the waiver wires in terms of quarterbacks, unless you're just picking up
So
some.
if you're really desperate, you have to go like Blake Bortles or
Yeah, but
McCown. You're
I'm not
in trouble at
yeah.
that point anyway.
That's just because out of necessity. I'm not advising you to do that. I'm not
Well,
like Alex Smith.
my non sleeper pick of the week is Alex Smith against the Bears at home. Just so you guys
No,
know.
I will say that this is a good matchup.
It is
Yeah,
a good matchup.
I mean, normally I would just sit here and bash you and say anything you say is ridiculous.
Oh.
But yeah, he's playing the Bears, and Bears obviously are one of the worst teams in football, one of the worst defenses in football.
Yeah.
That being said, we'll get to the running backs now. Le'Veon Bell is my number 1. He had a good week last week. I was a little worried about having Vic as his quarterback. I was hoping Vic wouldn't steal too many carries. It's kind of like how Cam Newton has single-handedly neutered Jonathan Stewart. But no, that wasn't the case. Bell ran for over 100 yards, and he was good again.
Great. I like that.
What?
Neutered.
He was neutered.
He
Yeah.
neutered Jonathan
player,
Stewart.
good
Yeah,
dog. He did.
I drafted him.
Yeah,
And
so
he's
did
done
I.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
in my
he's
league.
permanently on the bench now
Oh,
forever. Even he
Absolutely.
wasn't a
Yeah,
bye.
he dog shit.
I hate-
You're
I-
right. Neutered's a great word to say.
I hate Cam Newton a lot right now. My number 2 is, you'll be happy to hear this, Jamal Charles.
Yeah.
He's at home. He's playing the Bears.
JC, baby,
There's-
all day.
There's no reason for Charles not to go off this week. My number 3 is Justin Forsett. He's at home against Cleveland. Forsett was better, and he's playing Cleveland, whose run defense is pretty bad. They just got, I think Danny Woodhead had 100 and some yards from scrimmage off him. Number 4, Devontae Freeman. As long as he's still the number 1 guy, but the clear cut, as long as Coleman's out, go with Freeman. He's playing Washington.
Now, what do you think is going to happen with that, honestly? What do you think when Coleman comes back, they're going to give him a shot?
I think
he
Freeman,
beat him out.
I
But
think Freeman will still be the guy, but they're going to mix it up. Just
Well,
like before when Coleman was the guy, and Coleman played well as a
Yeah.
guy. Freeman still got carries. here and
Coleman
there.
I mean,
will
I
get
guess you have to
the
because
10
Freeman
touches a game.
Freeman does lead the NFL with touchdowns, 7, right? I mean, I think.
Well,
I
you have
think
6 in 2 games. Yeah.
yeah. So
I mean, I don't think he's going to score 3 again, but I mean, for fantasy owners out there, keep rolling with Freeman. When it starts getting, you start hearing the reports about Coleman maybe coming back. Try to dump him if you can. I mean, he'll obviously he'll still be a good player, but I think he can get some so high. He's not going to be any higher than he is right now. I mean, 6 touchdowns in 2 weeks. My number 3 is Eddie Lacy. He's been banged up, but he showed he wasn't out. He wasn't hurt by playing this week, and he played well. I think he had like 95 yards. Number 6 is Mark Ingram. Ingram's been solid all year, actually. If you look at his numbers, just every week it's 100 yards, and he's getting at least 5 catches a game. So go with Mark Ingram, number 6. My number 7, Ronnie Hillman. It's actually the first time I even mentioned him, I think, all year. CJ Anderson, I think they still say that CJ Anderson.
What a bust.
They're saying, yeah.
God.
CJ's still
He is
listed as the starter.
Yeah,
but
they said it's more. It's like a
Terrible.
1A, 1B type thing, and Anderson's still the 1A. But yeah, I mean, it's safe to say that CJ Anderson is. I wouldn't cut him because he's still healthy, and it's an injury away from playing. But you can safely bench.
But you know what it is though.
CJ Anderson.
Since Terrell Davis, obviously in Denver, what running back has been good after 1 year? I think it's almost like every
Portis.
year. Portis. It's a different running back, and it's a
Mike
it's a
Anderson,
no
Orlando
name,
Scary,
someone different.
Peyton Hillis.
It's
List goes on.
unreal.
Reuben
it
Drones.
really does. I mean, they go there to shine, and then they just fall off the table. I mean, CJ Anderson, you couldn't touch him last year. He was unbelievable watching him play, and now this year, wow. I love watching him do shit because obviously I'm a Chiefs fan. I'd rather not do well, even though we're still 4-0. Well, let's hope they hit a wall somewhere. But it's crazy.
Is we're talking about how Manning's been so average and he's been just a normal quarterback, and they have no running game, but it's like still at the end of the day 4-0. I mean, that's a difference. I don't know. I don't say he's a good coach. Yeah. I really don't think Kubiak's. I think if anything, Kubiak's. It's obviously the defense. It's all the defense.
It's Wade Phillips. No one likes Wade. Right, Wade's there, right?
He's the defense.
Wade is the defense.
No one likes Wade Phillips.
He can't be a head coach to save his dick.
Nah.
Some people just can't be head coaches.
Romeo Cornell,
North Turner.
Yeah.
North Turner. Yeah. Great offensive coordinator.
That's the truth.
So that's my number 7. Number 8, Deion Lewis. He's got to keep starting him. He's a PPR guy, and he's the lead guy in New England.
Blunt's back. Where's Blunt? Like, it's second.
He's playing.
What's he gonna do?
I was
3 had 18 carries for 80 yards.
Yeah,
when I was
looking at other websites and just looking with other opinions, I've seen Blunt as a top 15 guy. I just think I think Lewis has more potential, being that it's a PPR league, and I think they've thrown like 50 times a game every game.
Oh, just so you know, Lewis was an ex-Eagle, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
he wasn't good enough.
I wonder why he left.
Wasn't good enough for us.
He wasn't good enough for the Browns either, I guess.
He was not good enough for the Browns.
Wow, but he's good enough now
in
New England.
He probably wasn't a good character guy. He wasn't probably not a good character guy.
Yeah, character. Character gets you so far these days, don't it?
Yeah, it gets you 1-3.
Yeah.
Number 9, I have Matt Forte. He hasn't been as good as he was the first 2 weeks, and he plays a tough defense. Are they tough? Would you consider them tough?
They
were tough.
Honestly, I don't know. They need to find their image because I don't know what's happened for the past couple of weeks. I mean,
it's our Chiefs insider.
I mean, obviously they have to figure something out. They're not doing very well, but the matchups are getting bad. They're not very healthy, cornerback wise. I mean, it's good to have Sean Smith back after the suspension, but it's
was he roiding or was he
tough.
drugging?
He was DUI.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
you get 3 games for that these days? Jesus, God.
I mean,
it makes no sense.
What's wrong with drinking and driving?
Yeah, three games.
I see nothing wrong with that. Number 10, Doug Martin. Before we go into another Sean Smith tirade. Number 10, Doug Martin. He actually had, I think he almost had 100 yards last week or something like that. He's at home against Jacksonville. Jacksonville, that's what they are. Yeah. They can surprisingly they played well against Indy, but it's still Jacksonville. Number 11, Todd Gurley, who finally came on the scene. He's playing Green Bay, so not a great matchup for him, but man, he ran for 100 yards in the fourth quarter alone. So I'm going to ride with Gurley. I'm personally going to ride with Gurley. I had to draft him. I'm proud of myself. Number 12. Actually, sorry, I want to keep going. You got to get to your top 10. I'm rambling over here.
All right, so number 1, I have Le'Veon Bell. He came back from suspension last week, proved he didn't miss it.
As advertised, yeah.
Number 2, I've actually got Matt Forte. I'm a lot higher on him than you, Mike, because he had 29 touches last week, and what the Chiefs defense showed against the Bengals with Jeremy Hill and Gio Bernard scoring 4 touchdowns. Why not give a workhorse like Forte the ball all the time?
Because they don't really run the ball as much as the goal line. They do it here and there, but I feel like it's just it's like a Cutler pick waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I started the Oakland Raiders defense last week in fantasy. That's how bad I feel the Bears are. And I got like 10, 11 points out of them. That's just how. I mean, that's Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler is one of the worst quarterbacks in football.
Number 3, I've got Eddie Lacy versus St. Louis. Looks like he's healthy, so why not keep rolling with him?
Yeah, I like that.
Number 4, I went with Jamal Charles. Probably too low for you, right,
Way
Dante?
too low.
Way too low. It's top 4.
He should be 2 or 1. He should be 1.
You have a very good argument for 1.
He does have a good argument.
You're sticking a guy in number 1 who's played for 1 week and he just got off his suspension.
And
Charles for the past 4 weeks.
He's the best player in football.
He's not best. No, Charles is the best player in football.
He's the best player in football.
So I'll just continue with number 5 then.
Say what you want.
I've got Justin Forsett versus Cleveland for number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, Devontae Freeman versus Washington. Like you said, you got to keep playing him
Right
while
on
he's
my
the,
side,
while he's the starter and
whoever this-
unquestioned number
Whoever this
one.
West guy is, I don't know, or Ward.
Taryn Ward or something.
Yeah, nobody.
I don't know.
He's not even on my
Freeman?
waiver
Talking about
pickups.
Freeman?
No,
Yeah.
the backup guy.
Where's Freeman from?
Yeah, he went to Florida State.
Florida State.
I like
I
Freeman. I'll give you that one.
love that Seminole. Hey.
Number 7 and 8 are 2 guys who are questionable, so make sure they're playing before you go with them. I've got Arian Foster and Marshawn Lynch. If they're playing this week, you gotta ride with them.
Yeah.
They're both
Even
unquestioned.
The offensive line doesn't even want Foster playing. They caused a fumble. Literally knocked the ball out of his own hands.
That's not the first time that even said before about Foster, the line not liking Foster.
Number 9, I've got DeMarco Murray versus New Orleans.
Insane. You're insane.
He catches passes out of the backfield, so
He catches colds.
I might
catches
drop him.
attitudes.
I literally might drop him.
He's terrible.
one of these weeks he's eventually going to have to break out.
Everyone found out what DeMarco Murray was when he came to Philadelphia.
It's a product of the Cowboys.
It's a product
line.
of the Cowboys offensive line. It's exactly what it is.
I think that's
exactly
pretty
what it is.
extreme.
I mean, come on,
That.
Joseph Randle is looking like a premier running back in Dallas right now.
Until they bench him.
When you know if they stick him in any other offensive line in the NFL, he's not going to be anywhere near what he looks like right now.
I don't know.
And to round out the top 10, I've got Todd Gurley against Green Bay. He put up 100 yards in the fourth quarter last week.
Yeah,
so
he's healthy.
He's healthy.
That's all.
Shouldn't be an issue.
I mentioned in last week's show. I mentioned with Gurley, like I want to see 1 week. It's kind of the little guy when they're first coming back. Same with Martavis Bryant this week. I'm excited about Martavis Bryant coming back, but give it a week. Same thing with Foster. I didn't really have Foster that high last week either. When it's their first game back, I want to see it first before I go out and start it. I saw it from Gurley. Now I'm starting it. So my number 11 was, like I said, Todd Gurley. My number 12 is T.J. Yeldon. I mean, he might end the year with like 350 carries. I mean, they give him the ball like literally 25 times a game, and he doesn't do much with it really. I mean, he gets up to maybe 70 yards a game really, and it's not scoring a lot of touchdowns. But he's a workhorse, and he's got there's no Toby Gerhart. There's nobody behind him taking his carry. So go with Yeldon for the volume. Number 13 again, yeah, if he plays, of course, Marshawn Lynch at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's. They're 4-0. I mean, I don't know. Is there defense? I haven't really watched too much.
Their defense has been average at best.
Yeah,
Nothing
it's
special.
Not great. I mean, and you look at it last week, the Chiefs were inside the red zone 4 to 7 times that they put points on the board.
Ben don't break.
And it was because
Charles had 11 carries, 70 yards.
Yeah.
Something like that. So
So I mean, I feel safe going with Lynch, especially the fact that I'm like I'd rather him not play last night or 2 nights ago, whenever it was, so he can rest up more. Number 14, not sexy, but like I said, Houston's been so bad. So Frank Gore, I'll put him there. Number 15, again, the other end of the field, Arian Foster. He wasn't good, but it's Arian Foster. I mean, eventually he was a top 5 back last year. He'll wake up. Number 16, which I'm already regretting because I should probably cut him. It's DeMarco Murray. I agree with the same thing. He's going to have to break out. He has to break out at some point.
Well, I'm surprised with both your lists that none of us have Joseph Randle any higher. What Lance Dunbar done for the year. I mean, you think McFadden's going to take that many more?
No,
carries?
I don't. I really don't. I don't like their matchup for one because they're playing the Patriots.
Yeah,
so that's the one reason
I think they'll be thrown by
don't have them
7 minutes left in the first quarter. But I hate these coaches who a guy does something you kind of don't like and you just doghouse him. And he scored a touchdown. But because he kind of fumbled near, they benched him. He got 0 carries the rest of the way. And it's just, I hate that. And for that, I don't know. Are they going to come back out and shove McFadden down our throats again? We obviously know he's tried how many different teams, and I
wouldn't mind that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind that.
Because
of course, that's his number 2 running back.
Your 5th string, your 6th string running back. Yeah,
he may be my sleeper spot pick.
He may have to start for him this week.
That's sad. It is bye week, so it's not too sad. I don't want to bash it here, Tom.
Not too sad when you're 4-0. Just saying.
We'll get to that. You're driving me insane with
4-0. Jimbo, I hope you're hearing.
11th out of 12th in points. You lucky bastard with the schedule. Number 17,
Defense
another guy
wins championships.
Another guy if he plays. Carlos Williams at Tennessee. He had a concussion, but he'll pass. They'll pass the test. Nobody misses games from concussions.
Another
anymore.
Seminole.
That's not a serious thing. Carlos Williams, so number 17. Number 18, a guy I mentioned him earlier. He killed it last week. Pittsburgh's defense is better than Cleveland, but still not that great. So Danny Woodhead, a PPR guy. Number 19, obviously the matchup is a concern, but Latavius Murray, another clear-cut guy. He's been solid all year. I don't love the matchup, but he's still, especially with bye weeks, he's still an RB2. And number 20, I don't know what that was. Number 20, Jeremy Hill. He's back. He made his return in my rankings here. Tough defense, obviously, with Seattle, but if you can punch one in, that's all you really need. So
my number 11, I went with Latavius Murray.
Wow.
Since he is a workhorse, I like him a lot more than you do. He's going to get the carries. He catches pass out of the backfield, so got to stick with him.
Mhm.
Number 12, I've got Dion Lewis against Dallas. Same reasons you mentioned earlier. 13, I've got Mark Ingram against Philly. 14, if he plays, I've got Carlos Williams against Tennessee. Not a big fan of Tennessee's defense.
I don't like Ingraming that low at all.
Being 13?
Yeah. He's a clear-cut number 1. Like running back, he's clear-cut.
He is a clear-cut number 1.
Well, not 13. He's not.
I
He's in
wouldn't-
a 14-man league. You have him as a 2, obviously.
I do have him as RB2, yes.
No, but he's been consistent all year. All year, he scored like at least 15, 18 points a week. And this isn't even from a guy who owns him in 2 leagues, which I do.
Yeah,
But I just want to hear.
I
I just want to hear your thoughts because I don't know
I
how.
wonder why you wouldn't trade him.
Because you want give me garbage for him. Keep going.
All right. 15, I've got TJ Yeldon. Tampa Bay, they're playing Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay's defense, I mean, you don't have to say much more. 16, I've got Frank Gore against Houston. Feel like he should get the ball a lot if Luck is still banged up.
We've been saying this with a lot of these
And
Titans, these Colts guys all year. They should be doing. They should be
And
doing.
if Luck doesn't play,
Hilton
you
should have a
to
good
give
game,
him
yeah.
the ball. 17, I went with Jeremy Hill. Not big on him against Seattle,
No.
but he scored 3 touchdowns last week. You got to put him in your lineup if you have him. You can't get burned again.
I did. Sad by that.
18, I've got Amir Abdullah versus Arizona.
I'm not on the Amir Abdullah train at all. I was for like week 1, and I jumped right off.
He's been progressively getting worse, it seems.
Yeah, he
like,
has.
But
As
he
long as he
still
keeps
gets the
getting worse,
touches.
it's fine with me. Theo
They're
Riddick
not
to the
gonna-
rescue.
they're not
gonna
Theo
get
Riddick.
Is your sleeper of the week every week? Theo
Every
Riddick?
week, every week.
19, I've got Carlos Hyde versus the Giants.
He fell off.
He fell
Talk about
off.
getting worse every week.
He also fell
Week
off.
Yeah.
1,
but
he looked like he was
still
gonna be the
is
best
the
running back
workhorse,
around.
So hopefully, if they're
He
in
was the second
game,
gun of Barry Sanders.
carries. At
Oh,
number
God.
20, I threw
So
Joseph
his means he
Randall in
sucks,
there for
right?
you.
Yeah, he threw
Thank
Joseph Randall in there. You get the background noise of his rankings over Dante's ramblings. My sleeper pick of the week. I actually mentioned him last week as a guy you need to pick up, and he's probably not available anymore because he shouldn't be. Duke Johnson from Cleveland. I think he's eventually going to take the job away from Crowell, full fledged. But the guy caught like 10 balls last week. He's got great hands. He's a Miami guy. You're a Miami fan, right? No, you're a Dolphins fan.
I'm Dolphins
I'm
fan.
confused the two. You're a Duke guy. Yeah,
Jim's
you're
a
a Duke guy.
Miami
But
Yeah.
you're a Duke guy. Well, I'm a Duke Johnson guy. How about that
Jamison
one?
Crowder high this week.
Yeah. And my bust of the week is Chris Johnson at Detroit. There's, what's his name may come back.
Ellington.
Ellington maybe coming back and stealing some carries. In Detroit, like I said, we saw, what they did to Seattle. It kind of bottled them up. So I don't like Chris Johnson this week. We
My
got
sleeper of the week, I have Danny Woodhead. He catches passes out of the backfield for San Diego. And then for a bust of the week, I actually stuck with the same team and went Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of Melvin Gordon at all.
No, I haven't been. I actually had him as I think I put him top 20 last week because they were playing Cleveland, but I think he ran for like 45 yards. So it wasn't good.
So I don't think he's had a game over 7.
No, he hasn't been great. Some waiver wire pickups if they're out there, grab them. Charles Sims from Tampa Bay. He caught a touchdown pass. He's a good receiver. And again, we always talk about PPR. This is a PPR show. If you're not PPR, I'm sorry to hear that. And also Christine Michael. I think eventually he'll start stealing some carries in Dallas. They're obviously not in love with any of their running backs. So pick up Michael if he's there. Injury, updates worth not really updates, but Aaron Foster, be wary of him, of course. We're not sure. He'll probably play, but I don't know how much or how well effective. Marshawn, of course, if he plays, you got to start him. If he's not, I don't think you have to start Rawls. We think he proved last night that he wasn't very good. He averaged like 2 point some yards a carry. He wasn't very good. Ellington, if he plays, you don't have to. Don't feel obligated to do that. And then Shady McCoy, I think it's safe to say he's out for. Is he listed full fledged out for like 2-3 weeks?
I think so.
Yeah, as long as McCoy's out. There's some people out there. I didn't put on my waiver pickups the Booby Dixons and all that.
Arons.
No, I'm not a boom. I'm not a boom booby guy.
I am.
You are? Are you a boom or a booby?
Booby.
You're a booby?
Booby Dixon, like Friday Night Lights. Booby.
Yeah, he stinks.
You
They are
watch.
playing Tennessee though, so
Yeah, it's a
if you
favorable
are
matchup.
desperate, it won't hurt.
If
to
you
put
know
him in.
who the clear cut starter is, feel free to roll with it. But I don't know who's going to be. And if it's Boobie Dixon, it's a clear cut. I'm still hoping I have somebody better than that.
Well, I had said to Kevin, what about Kamar Aiken out in Baltimore?
That's great when we get to receivers.
We're not quite there yet.
All right.
Thanks for paying attention. No, yeah, we'll do this next. But before we do that, we're actually going to take a break. Stick to the other side. By the way, you give us a call, give us a text, 267-563-2893. That being said, we will be right back to these words.
Yep.
Kumar.
Had damage to your house? Avoid the hassle. Just call Castle Public Adjusters. Get the edge on your insurance company. 215-752-1237. That's 215-752-1237. Or check them out at castlepa.com. Don't settle for less. Get the maximum for your claim. Castle Public Adjusters. 215-752-1237.
Hey, yo, Cassie, what are you doing?
I got plumbing problems here. I can't get the water to go down the drain. What am I going to do?
Call Guaranteed Plumbing, 215-342-7200 for all your plumbing needs. Serving the Philadelphia area and the greater Delaware Valley.
What was that phone number again?
215-342-7200.
Oh, yeah, oh.
Now, when we say commercial break, that was literally a break. Not even enough time to take a piss.
No.
We don't want to lose you. I know you're on the edge of your seat. I know you're probably watching that. Yeah, you're probably watching that NXT special tonight. So I don't want to lose you. Welcome back, SG Fantasy Football Show. It's a wrestling joke for everybody out there. I'm, of course, your host, Mike at the Wall, joined by Kevin and I don't even know. You're an Indian fan, apparently. You look the Chiefs and the Seminoles. Are you a Cleveland Indians fan?
No.
No? All right.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Blackhawks?
No.
Oh, yeah. Are you more Blackhawks?
No.
All right.
No, just Chief and Seminole.
That's to try and get it out of you. And we're going to get into the receivers. Again, we have our question of the day. You can feel free to tweet us any kind of questions you have. Start Sid. I know it's a little early in the week for that, but we're always here all week at Sports Goombahs on Twitter. Question day is, who has been the steal of the draft or steal of the season so far? We will give you our answers later on in the show.
Brandon Whedon,
steal the draft. He was a steal of the NFL draft.
Yeah.
He's stealing money from
he's stealing money. He's stealing money from this draft position. Wide receivers, my number one receiver, didn't have a great game last week, but I have full confidence he'll go off again for 12 for 190 and 2 touchdowns. That's Julio Jones. As long as Leonard Hankerson is
hanky panky over there.
Isn't, I don't know if he's tied his shoelaces together in a huddle or something like that last week.
Oh.
But Julio Jones rolling, he'll bounce back. I have no problem. He's number one every week. Number 2, Demaryius Thomas at Oakland. He's been very solid all year. Always been top 5, and he's going to continue to do that again, especially against Oakland, like I said. Number 3, Julian Edelman, PPR phenom. He's playing at Dallas. No less than 8 or 9 catches going on there. Number 4, this is the lowest he's been all year for anyone that's been on the show. It's Antonio Brown at San Diego. Isn't the great? I mean, San Diego's not great, but they're pesky. But I don't like Michael Vick ever being a quarterback. I don't like. Yeah. I never really am a fan of receivers who are running quarterback as their guys. It's just. I mean, look at the Cam Newtons and the Vicks and all these guys. Like I don't want the receivers. I don't want it at all. Number 5, Odell Beckham Jr. Again, he's playing San Francisco, who is brutal. They are awful. They are pathetic. They should just stop playing football. Number 6, Randall Cobb at home against St. Louis. It's harsh.
Just stop.
Yeah, they're not even winless either. But Randall Cobb at home against St. Louis. St. Louis' defense is hit or miss, but Randall Cobb is the best quarterback. Second best quarterback, I'd say. Throwing the football. Number 7, check this out, against the Chicago Bears, Jeremy Maclin. He's been killing it.
Hey, he's been doing good.
He's been killing it.
I know.
So I mean, you guys finally have a receiver over there.
Finally getting some targets.
Nice to see. Number 8, I have DeAndre Hopkins. Speaking of killing, he kills it week in and week out. So DeAndre Hopkins is a number 1 receiver in fantasy. He's at home against Indy. It doesn't matter really who their quarterback is. It doesn't matter because odds are they're probably going to lose a game. I mean, they always do. So they throw a lot. Number 9, Manuel Sanders at Oakland. He's always the highest of the number 2s on my list, and he continues to be good every week. Number 10, guys really bounced back. AJ Green kind of faded off, last year with injuries and beginning of this year. Now he's back to being clear cut now. Varsity one. Last week, he played. AJ Green was Cincinnati. Oh, never mind. That's a different game. I'm thinking of somebody else. AJ Green plays. He's going to have what's his name on him in Seattle, Sherman.
Yeah, Richard Sherman.
So that's why I dropped him down a little bit. I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens there. That's my top 10.
I went with Julio Jones at number 1, just like you. Same reasons. I doubt Leonard Hankertson's going to continue to steal targets.
Yeah, you think he will?
He'll still get his
You
targets.
never
but there's
know.
Still plenty of balls.
That
to go
pesky
to Julio.
Hankerson.
Hankerson from the U.
Number 2, I've got Demaryius Thomas against Oakland. 3, Odell Beckham versus San Fran. Our rankings are pretty similar at the top. Number 4, Julian Edelman.
There's
like
a
you
clear tier
Yeah.
1 of receivers.
Number 5, I've got Randall Cobb versus St. Louis. A little more high on DeAndre Hopkins than you are. I've got him at 6.
And that's tough.
Um,
It's tough to be higher on DeAndre Hopkins than I am.
I know he's your Clemson
He's my
boy.
boy. He's
and
my boy.
everything. 22 targets last week. I mean,
Jesus, I didn't know it was that high.
You-
Actually,
I don't know how I
that makes
can't rank
it that makes it worse of a game because I think he only had like
yeah,
9
9 for like
catches.
150.
Yeah.
But if
Then
you're,
again,
if you're getting the ball thrown to you 22 times,
I know it's funny.
I don't care if it's
when,
Mallet or Hoyer.
when I was looking at last week's fantasy the quarterback stats. Hoyer finished like the number 7 quarterback or 8
Hoyer
quarterback
had like
in fantasy.
250.
He had,
crazy.
he had a good
Touchdowns.
second half. He did well because they pulled him out. When they pulled him out,
Like the third quarter,
Yeah.
like it was late, and he came in there slinging it.
22-0, and then Hoyer came in and just threw every play. 7, I've got Emmanuel Sanders. 8, I've got Antonio Brown. I'm definitely not a fan of Michael Vick, so
No,
that's what dropped him.
that's fair.
Last week he broke his streak of 5
Well, the
plus
550?
catches. 5 and 50. So
And what was the one thing that changed this week? Oh yeah, Vic. So
that was the
That
only
bum.
difference was Vic. Obviously, Brown's going to be a stud once Big Ben comes back.
Yeah.
9, I've got Calvin Johnson. I feel like eventually he'll have to have a good game.
I think he had a good game week 3 or something like that. I remember because I have him in one league, so I kind of
So
had
he's been
I kind of vaguely follow him.
basically a wide receiver.
I think he's just tired. I think he's just tired.
He's
the
tired
same,
of Matt Stafford.
he's tired of
Stafford.
Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford is such
awful.
a bum.
He's literally
How can you have?
he's almost Cutler-esque.
Yeah, it's bad.
He may not turn
think
it over
he's-
as much.
Stafford had that one
God.
year that he was really good
Yeah.
and put up huge numbers.
Yeah, he took like
When you have
4,500.
someone,
He's
when you
still
have
living
someone
off
like
like
that,
that
how do you miss
2012
him? How do you not target him 20 times? How do you not
with the way
do everything you possibly can to
the
work around
way
him?
Matt Ryan is with Julio is the same way Stafford should be with Calvin.
Yeah,
It
Julio
should
gets
be.
like 15 targets a game minimum,
Calvin's at like 7.
Yeah.
max.
and he catches like 6 of them.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford.
Stafford's best buddy is throwing a fade to like the Golden Tate, who's 5'4".
he's not
Like
5'4".
I don't understand that.
He's over 6 foot tall.
Tiny,
No, but he's not. It's not that. It's just the Golden Tate stinks.
tiny little garden gnome.
Yeah, it doesn't matter his height or anything. It's
Just the fact that he
Golden
stinks.
Tate.
I mean, I can predict Matt Stafford's line this week. It's going to be. I'm going to go with 21 of 39 for our 221 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. That's Matt
That's-
Stafford every single week.
Yeah.
He hovers like 55% completions, which is awful in 2015. Low 200s and always more picks and touchdowns. He is so bad. I can't even get over it.
Yeah, it's bad.
He used to always be in that like thing where it's like, okay, well, if I don't get it one of the top guys, I can settle for the Romos and the Rivers and the Staffords. No.
No.
Yeah, no.
Stafford's a
Stafford is
whole
all-
tier
yeah,
underneath. the
Stafford's-
Romos
yeah,
and
Stafford
If
Rivers.
we
dropped.
rank every quarterback, honest to God, I can't see him being higher than like 25th. I really can't.
Bad.
That's how bad he is.
He might be able to crack the top 20, but it would be close.
No, I wouldn't.
And then number 10, I've got AJ Green versus Seattle. It's a tough matchup, but
Yeah, it's a tough
he's
matchup.
still been killing it.
My number 11, I hate that he's this good again, but Larry Fitzgerald at Detroit, Fountain of Youth, candidate for our question of the day. Like I said, he's playing at Detroit. And number 12, this is actually the guy I was thinking about, not AJ Green. Calvin Johnson was who I have at number 12. He just played against Sherman last week. Now he goes up against Patrick Peterson, probably 2 of the 5 best corners in all of football, and he's got to go back-to-back weeks. So my number 13, I have Keenan Allen at home against Pittsburgh. Allen's kind of an enigma as well. Again, he hasn't been playing that well, but he has potential to go off at any point. Number 14, Amari Cooper. Again, tough matchup playing Denver, but I do think they're going to lose. And Cooper's been Very good. Cooper's been very solid. So keep going with him, no problem.
Riley Cooper?
No, that is Amari. Riley's probably higher than you think, though. He's just outside of the top 20.
Terrible.
And again, you can always get the full rankings. We do more than just the top 20 once you go to our site, sgshow.net. Go to the header, SG Fantasy Show. You'll get more. You get the audio with the video. You get everything you want from the show and our rankings and more. Stardom, Situm, and our Bust and Sleepers all posted there. Still there from last week, which I'll go over and show. I think I nailed a lot of my picks last week, so you guys will see that later. Number 15, Vincent Jackson killed it last week, and he's playing at home against Jacksonville. He seems to pass Mike Evans. I don't think that was possible. I thought Jackson was fading out this year. Number 16, I have Jordan Matthews at home against New Orleans. Not as high as it was a couple weeks ago. I thought he was going to be like a PPR machine this year, catching like 8 balls a game. Hasn't really been the case. Number 17 and 18 actually have teammates. I really don't know who to trust or if you can trust either of them. But they're playing a bad team. They have a good quarterback when healthy. T.Y. Hilton, number 17. Dante Moncrief, number 18. Number 19, Brandon Cooks against Philadelphia.
I love Moncrief. I love
Moncrief too.
I love him. I absolutely. I mean, he's got my name, so that makes it.
Spelled a little different.
Yeah, it's spelled with a Y and a 7 and a 4 in it, but still, it doesn't matter. I still like him.
Oh, you're an awful person. So yeah, like I said, number 19 is Brandon Cooks against Philly. Philly's defense isn't that great. He'll probably torch our bum corner from Clemson a bunch of times. And number 20, again, the guy that says if he plays. I just love his matchup. Steve Smith at home against Cleveland. So if he plays, I think he'll go off.
All right, so number 11, I've got if he plays. I've got Alshon Jeffrey ranked that high. I know.
Talk about if he plays.
God, I mean,
day to day.
That's the
he
iffiest
was
to play.
close to playing last week.
I've been trying to
He's
trade
been
him
day-
for the past 3 weeks, just to get rid of him.
He has been day to day for 4 weeks.
yeah.
It's been day to day since last year, week 12.
He'll be back in the lineup. He'll be able to torch Sean Smith coming off of the
Bum.
Oh, there we go.
I'll take him in Philadelphia though.
Here we go.
12, I've got Jeremy Maclin versus Chicago. Good matchup.
Love it. Love that matchup. J-Mac.
13, another if he plays.
I'm at 7.
T.Y. Hilton. If T.Y. Hilton doesn't play, I would plug Moncrief in to take the same spot as Hilton. 14, I've got Keenan Allen. He is a mystery, like you said. 1 week will be 15 catches. The next week will be 3. 15, Amari Cooper versus Denver. Someone's got to catch the passes once they're down 14.
I think Denver's D is going to catch a lot of those passes.
Very possible. 16, Larry Fitzgerald against Detroit. He's been like
Talk about sell. Yeah, if you can trade, the guy, I advise you.
That
to
is
trade him.
definitely someone to sell high on.
Yeah, I'd sell a guy now.
Talk about the fountain of youth, huh?
Yeah.
God, where did you thought his career and maybe life was over last year?
When people were drafting him in leagues, because he got drafted in every league I was in, but just real late. I kind of like after the
It's
pick,
like
in my head,
player and that's
in my
it.
head, I'd be like, waste of a pick.
You know what though? But to be honest with you, I really think obviously it's Carson Palmer. When Carson Palmer wasn't there last year, I mean he got hurt, and you have all the 2 quarterbacks that come in. I mean,
Carson Palmer was a huge upgrade.
Yeah.
Over Stanton, Lindley.
Ryan Lindley is the worst quarterback to ever play football.
yeah, it's bad.
Like no, I think statistically, he's the worst quarterback to ever play
He
football.
made
Oh,
it worse.
that's
Yeah,
why.
I'm about to say.
I thought you were
I
just making a
No,
comment.
normally it would be reserved for a Cutler or a Stafford, but no, Lindley, by the numbers, is the worst quarterback to ever played football. So maybe that did affect Fitzgerald's production. Obviously, it had to.
Yeah, it had to have.
17, I went with Allen Robinson at Tampa Bay. He's been
I like
pretty
these Jacksonville
consistent
receivers. I just never know which one to go with.
it's which Allen do you want to play this
Yeah.
week? Each week it seems like they're rotating. Hearns had a huge game last week, so
So you're just playing the
looks like
odds
it's
here.
Robinson's turn this week.
Playing the trends.
18 and 19, I have teammates in Vincent Jackson and Mike Evans. Jacksonville's defense is not very good, so I feel like there'll be a lot of passes to catch, even from Jameis Winston. 20, I went with Kendall Wright versus Buffalo. He is coming back from the bye.
I looked into that.
Buffalo's gonna probably be up, so Tennessee's gonna have to throw to somebody.
I think Tennessee. Actually, I think in Tennessee too. I think actually.
It is a home game for Tennessee.
Yeah, so I think Tennessee's gonna win that game.
Ugh, no way.
Right?
I mean, Buffalo.
No
I mean,
way.
I
Tyler
don't
Taylor
think
apparently
that's-
has an injury, and
I don't think that's
the running
gonna
backs
happen.
are banged up. Sammy Watkins is banged up, but
Yeah.
Buffalo's banged up. So don't overlook Tennessee yet. They had 2 weeks to prep for this game.
And talk about Sammy Watkins taking a shit. He's
Yeah.
terrible. God,
I know, and it's funny because like
man.
before again, obviously I'm a Clemson fan. I value them higher than anybody else. I wanted nothing to do with Sammy Watkins this year in fantasy at
Yeah.
all. Again, I mean, Tyler Taylor has been better than I thought he was going to be. Still don't want anything to do with Sammy Watkins.
That was 20.
That was 20.
Yeah.
So my sleeper pick of the week is a guy who was a hot pickup and then he kind of fell off the face of the earth. But I do like him this week because of the situation. Like Terrence Williams against the Patriots. I mean, I think they're going to lose by at least 21. And then it's just going to be this entire second half will be just nothing but throws. And you how many times can you throw to Witten and that who's that little bum?
Cole Beasley.
Yeah, Cole Beasley. I knew his name.
Cole Beasley.
Little bum.
Yeah,
Little bum. He's
that little wannabe
good.
Welker. No.
Yeah.
He stinks.
5
So
catches.
I think Terrence Williams is a safe bet for maybe 6-7 catches.
It's like
So
the Julian Edelman of the NFC East.
yeah,
I
exactly.
wouldn't
No,
compare those two. But
Well, I would.
he's like a homeless person's Julian Edelman.
Want my $10, Jim.
And my bust of the week is actually someone you actually had your rankings. It's Mike Evans. I think we're getting to the point where we can just pull a plug on the guy. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Jameis just doesn't like him. I don't know if it's.
I don't think Jameis likes anyone to throw to besides the other team. I mean, every time
he has
he
been a
pick,
fan
pick,
of the
pick,
opposing
pick,
color
pick.
jersey.
So yeah, I don't know what happened to Evans. I was high on him going into the year. I thought they had a lot of weapons in Tampa, but I don't know. I guess the guy pulling the trigger, blowing it.
My
Yeah.
sleeper pick was also
Where'd
Terrence
he go?
Williams.
Oh, look at that. We're on the same page.
Where did who go?
Jameis Winston.
He's a Seminole.
Yeah, I know that.
He won national championship. Eat it.
That's right. Once he makes the NFL, Dante.
Yeah, you
Disowns
care less.
him.
Yeah.
And then my bust this week, I have Jordan Matthews. I haven't really seen much from the Eagles' offense as a whole. He's not catching any passes, so I don't see why you want to keep sticking with him.
Yeah, I agree. Waiver wire picks this week. Tavon Austin. I'm not really a huge fan, but you have Nick Foles throwing the ball. So if Nick Foles throwing the ball, you automatically jump up 50, 60 spots because of how good he is. Willie Snead. Willie Snead making an appearance.
I like Snead.
Yeah,
I think you're starting him in the line.
I am.
Jesus.
I
You say our lineup's crap. Wow.
Yeah, I
Willie
can't
Snead
start.
is a
I can't start Roddy White.
Yeah,
And-
You
yeah.
can roll the dice one more week.
I
You
don't know.
just said you did the last
I don't
3.
know.
I did.
Jesus. I think you're rolling the dice with Snead. Wow.
Snead had. Wait,
You had the balls to talk about Cole Beasley and you're starting
Willie
Snead.
Snead had 6
Holy
for
shit.
84 last week. 6 for
Wow.
84.
Yeah, 6 for
14 and a
84.
half.
Ugh.
I'll take that every day of the week. Willie Snead is a good waiver wire pickup.
No, it's not.
Kamar Aiken, another guy.
I love
cool.
that.
Like
I love
Kamar
that.
Aiken.
And I actually almost picked him up last week. But I don't like Flacco at all, and I don't know. I didn't do it, and he had a good game. They said a really good game. So Kamar Aiken's a guy you can really look into as a waiver pickup. Another guy who probably obviously was drafted in every league. Probably got cut. I think he's a free agent in one of my leagues right now. It's still there actually. Nelson Aguilar. I think eventually he's gonna bounce back and become useful. They started using him more this week. So if Aguilar is a free agent in your league, I think it's a good time. If it's a deep enough league, you've got a spot to waste. Just jump on Aguilar. Anyone else?
I also I know he's on a bye this week, but if it is a deeper league, someone to stash Ted Ginn Jr. from Carolina.
Someone to stash.
I know you
the
don't
worst.
like-
That's the worst line I
You
want to
don't
hear.
like-
Someone to stash. Oh my God. Here we go.
Oh, we got somebody calling him.
You got a caller?
Yeah, welcome to the show.
King.
How you doing?
Want to thank you for the no hat week.
I know. I'm getting flooded with emails right now. People just saying like, "Thank God Pat's not here." Pat's my usual sidekick, but
Congratulations on your big win last week. It's always good seeing MD go down.
who went down?
Notre Dame. He's talking.
Oh yeah,
Clemson.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Congratulations.
It's very nice of you.
But, my running back's been killing me this year,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, I got 2 flex leagues, so I got to start 3 of them. I got Beckham, Hopkins, and Cooper as my 3 receivers, so they don't keep me in it.
Yeah, that's really good.
But I got 7 backs, and I want to see what the issue is.
The old running back by committee.
Got, well, actually 6 backs. There's Hillman and Anderson are kind of just one.
Yeah.
But I got Anderson, Hillman, and then I got Lynch, Deion Lewis, Chris Johnson, Duke Johnson, and TJ Yeldon.
Sorry, that's not a bad stable of running backs
Not
whatsoever.
at all.
I mean, maybe not any studs. I mean, Lynch is when he's healthy. You can definitely find 3 running backs out of that group. I mean, just me from what I have in rankings, like I have Hillman ranked 7.
Yeah,
Deion.
I missed your running back rank.
Yeah, I got Rodney Hillman 7th this week. I think he's going to take the ball. I think C.J. Anderson is going to be just an afterthought. So I got Hillman 7. I have Deion Lewis 8. I have T.J. Yeldon 12, Marshawn Lynch 13, and
Said Deion
and C.J. Lewis, but C.J. Johnson,
Chris
but
Johnson.
okay, C.J. whatever,
2K,
you know.
Yeah.
I think don't go with
I
C.J.
would-
Johnson.
yeah, he would be the one I definitely sit.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely
Marshawn
have,
plays. You definitely play him.
yeah, you got some good plays there. Hillman, and I actually had, I don't know if you obviously you said you didn't hear this. My sleeper running back of the week was Duke Johnson. So I like pretty much everyone you have here. So yeah, I mean, I would be confident going with at least Deion Lewis, Marshawn Lynch, and Hillman. That's my three. If you're a little worried about Hillman splitting, go with Yeldon because Yeldon gets 20+ carries a week.
And they are playing Tampa.
Yeah.
I had Hillman and Duke Johnson on my bench last week, and they go to that.
Yeah, Duke's going to catch a lot of passes, and it's going to continue.
And one other question for you guys. I picked up Gates before last week.
Smart.
For him to come back. Do I wait a week on him, see what he does, stick with Bennett, or do I start him this week?
Well, I mean, I would too. I mean, for now, I would stick with Bennett just to see how Gates, because Ladarius Green was productive actually when in his time there. So I don't know if it's a wait and see a week, see how he gets acclimated back in. But if you had like a poop tight end, I'd say throw Gates in there. But you got Bennett, who's the top 5 tight end. So I'd go with Bennett for a week just to see how they use Gates.
I agree because you don't know how Ladarius Green's going to be.
Yeah.
If he's still going to be used the way he has been with Gates.
Yeah, Bennett's been great. So
Bennett is a number 1 tight end every week.
Yeah. All right.
That's all I want to know. Thanks, and have a good one.
Not a problem, man. Thanks for the call, and I'll tell Pat you send along your regards. See ya.
Take care.
I'm telling you, Pat he's public enemy number 1.
Is he?
Yeah, he is, man. He's just he's a lightning rod of controversy.
I mean, I haven't really heard. I don't know what it's just.
No, it's he picked Carson Palmer over Andrew Luck week 1, and he was right. And now since then he's unfortunately I bashed him hard, and I was wrong.
So though,
and I was rightfully so. He came out of the gate week 1 said I would start Carson Palmer over Andrew Luck. Of course, I called him a fool and told him he was a stupid, dumb idiot. And Carson Palmer had like 35 points, and Luck had like 12.
He's a smart man.
So he's been riding his coattails for a couple of weeks now. So I had to. He texted me. He's like, "Yo, man, I'll be there in 5 minutes." I said, "Turn the car around." I said, "You're not welcome back here right now." So sorry, Pat. Injury concerns out there. Alshon Jeffrey again. He's been day to day for 2 months now. Steve Smith, if he plays, roll with him. Deshaun Jackson was supposed to possibly play last week, didn't. He's supposed to possibly play this week. Doesn't look like he's going to again. I think when Deshaun Jackson eventually does play, I would wait a week maybe, but then after that, I think
I would definitely wait, see what they do,
but
see
after
how
that,
it's used.
He'll eventually be somebody you can put in the game. That's really at the receiver. I mean, there's a lot of guys we're missing on buys. Like I said, the
Brandon Marshall,
Ted Gins of the world who had 2 touchdowns for some reason.
I think he's
second
getting
in the
paid
team
to
in
sit.
targets.
Yeah, who behind Cam Newton?
Greg
Behind
Olsen.
Cam Newton himself? He probably thought
Only behind.
if
Greg
Cam
Olsen
could throw to
in
himself, he would. That's the kind of guy Cam Newton is. I hate Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I despise Cam Newton. But yeah, with towards the question of the day, steal the draft this year. Or you don't have to go with the one. Just thought who's the guys that you're just shocked at this year.
You got to start with Tom Brady if you drafted him thinking he was suspended 4 games and got him late because.
And that's one of the things I was thinking about,
quarterback.
and it's a different way of looking at it because obviously Tom Brady never really steal, but if you drafted early enough, I mean,
you took him 6th, 7th, 8th round,
11th
round. Obviously, that's a steal.
That's a steal because he's the best player,
number 1 quarterback.
Yeah. Other guys that we got, some tweets on Twitter. Somebody did say Tom Brady. Another one we got out there. Somebody said obviously Larry Fitzgerald. Got 2 people actually were saying Larry Fitzgerald is easily the steal of the draft because, like I said, he's a guy
someone drafted.
He was an afterthought in the draft. Yeah. You laughed at when draft day came around and someone said, "Oh, Larry Fitzgerald." Like, okay, cool. Was it 2004?
He's the guy that you don't mind playing.
Putting the numbers up there. Put them on blast. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hey, Mikey, it's Pat. How you boys doing?
Oh,
What up, Pat?
you just had your best friend on the line.
What's up, Dante? I got a couple questions for you guys. I want to see what you think.
All right, shoot.
Number 1, this week I just traded Devonta Freeman for Julian Edelman. My starting receivers are Randall Cobb.
How did you pull that off?
Was there cash involved in that trade?
Yeah.
Well,
Can you hear the details of this?
The guy I traded with, he
Was retarded and slow. Jeez.
the guy I traded with, the starting receivers are Antonio Brown, Edelman, and Hopkins.
That's
And
me.
his running backs.
It's a nice group right there.
That's my crew.
So we both kind of needed,
Wait, you said Devontae Freeman.
Yeah.
Oh, they said Devontae Adams.
Oh,
That's
no.
why. That's why I
It
was
was
like,
a
what the
very
hell?
sell high on Devontae
Okay.
Freeman.
Oh, okay. So you actually you took our advice a little earlier. Yeah, sell him high. Yeah, that's a great trade. That's not as awful.
It's definitely not as awful as
thought
Devontae Adams.
I thought Devontae
or
Adams.
Julian Edelman, a top 10 for a guy who doesn't play.
Much better.
Okay. And then my other question for you is, my running backs are now starting Lacey and Deion Lewis. Do you think I should sell Deion Lewis next week if he goes off, or keep him for the rest of the year?
I wouldn't sell Deion Lewis. I mean, if you can get the right offer, obviously, yeah, you can feel free to go for it. But I mean, he's not going to lose his job. He is the receiving back there. He's the old Shane Vereen, and Blunt is Blunt. He'll get the carries, if they're up maybe late. But I mean, Deion Lewis he's gonna catch passes. I wouldn't give up. I wouldn't trade up Lewis unless you're getting something that is more consistent or something you could really need or something like that. I don't think he's a sell high guy because I think this is what he's going to be. He's going to be
Deion Lewis is going to be a solid RB2
Yeah.
week in and week out the rest of this year with New England already taking their bye. So
Pat, if you're listening, get rid of Deion Lewis. Don't listen to these two. Get rid of them. Blunt's going to take away touchdowns like Cam takes away touchdowns from the running backs. Get rid of them, sell them high, and get something good for him. That's just from me. But if you want to listen to these two morons, go ahead.
I love it.
Well, the reason I asked is Deion Lewis fumbled the ball twice so far.
There you go. And Belichick's going to dump him.
We know how Belichick is fickle. He's fickle when it comes to running back.
he has stuck with them,
One
though.
away from being Belichick's shithouse. So
Yes.
I don't
He'll be right next to Stephen Ridley. He's still there.
Stephen Ridley is
All right,
actually with the Jets.
He's with the Jets.
I know that.
I'll talk to you later.
I see it,
All right,
Pat.
Pat. See you, bud.
Thanks for the call.
Take care.
A couple of the candidates, for steals of the draft. Devontae Freeman, like I said, he's right now, according to Yahoo, he's the number one player in fantasy. Whereas obviously you weren't drafting him thinking you were going to get much out of him at all. A couple of the guys out there, Tyrod Taylor. I mean, I don't think anyone drafted him, so I don't know if you can call him a steal of the draft.
How about Kendall Wright?
No, I would say anything if you're going to go with something kind of receiver. Travis Benjamin
Yeah.
has been much better. Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer came away. And nobody drafted the guy, but maybe waiver wire pickup of the year. You could say James Jones. I mean, James Jones
He
who would've-
scores a touchdown weekly, it seems like.
and like I said, I mentioned this last week where I had the option going into week 2. I had number 1 waiver priority, and I was sitting in Terrence Williams, James Jones. I made the wrong call. I went Terrence Williams, so it still haunts me. But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of surprises. I mean, even guys like Dante Moncrief, someone that wasn't as high as you expected. Now, he's a top 20 receiver on a weekly basis. So, for every Lamar Miller and
CJ Anderson.
pretty much you can just name any guy I own: CJ Anderson, Lamar Miller, DeMarco Murray. If they're bust, I pretty much own them in one of my leagues. Yeah, that's some of the things we got out there today. We actually got another couple of responses. One said Larry Fitz. One said Phil Rivers, and Phil Rivers actually is like a top 3 quarterback right now. And so another one for Devontae Freeman. So some tweets we got, some questions, some Stardom Stidham questions. Big Seth, I think he co-hosted 2 weeks ago. He had some questions for us. Who's he starting as flex? Is it Martavis Bryant, Duke Johnson, Darren Sproles, Antonio Andrews, or Nelson Aguilar?
I would go with Duke Johnson at this point.
I
He's
agree.
going to catch passes.
I agree wholeheartedly. Don?
Oh, you want my opinion now?
Yeah, what do you think?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's all take my opinion and laugh about it. Ha ha. No one, you know what? You just choose. You choose whatever you want because it's going to be wrong anyway because you guys are retarded.
Dante chooses Antonio Andrews.
No, I don't.
Hey, and we got a tweet. Somebody seconds my Matthew Stafford reign. He said Matthew Stafford used to be his favorite player. He's carried on his team every year, and now he blew him. He said, "Go away." So I'm not the only one. There's some people who are not.
You blew him?
No, he said no.
Go
He
away?
said no. He said you blew. Did I say you blew him?
That's what he said.
He said you blow. Sorry,
Oh,
I was in the tweet. He said Matthew Stafford, you blow. Please go away.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
I got on my team. I got the team.
The
on
Vikings D.
I got the Green Bay Packers.
This really defense question?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got the Green Bay Packers, the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are home against Washington. The Packers are home against St. Louis. Which one?
I could care less.
I would go with
Yeah.
Atlanta.
First of all, you gotta care. I'm asking you.
No, my thing. I've made this since the first preseason
Make
show.
like Cashier's a caller and help him out.
No,
He'll start
no,
Oakland, Cleveland.
Yeah,
whoever
I've
he-
started Oakland. I've started. When it comes to defenses, don't draft them. You have to go week by week because then you have.
I own them both.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
Well,
trying to pick one because I look at Green Bay right now.
then you
and
go
it's
Green. You go Green Bay because you got Green Bay.
Washington's defense
Or
is
no,
not that bad.
I would go with Atlanta this week.
Yeah,
because
sorry, I meant this team.
Washington's
Washington.
offense isn't that good,
Right.
and
No, yeah,
I
I'm sorry.
have Atlanta in one
It's
of my
in
leagues,
Atlanta?
and I will be playing.
It's in Atlanta.
It's in
They've been
Atlanta.
hot. I mean, someone's got to calm them down. I think like they ain't gonna be watching.
No, I would go Atlanta, but like I said, I'm been very adamant that you stream defenses. You just
Yeah.
stream them week to
Right,
week to week
That's
to
what I've
week.
been doing. That's why I picked up Atlanta because I saw him playing Washington.
Yeah, if that's the case, yeah, you got it. Yeah,
I dumped Miami. Of
What?
course.
Yeah, they've been
Everybody
awful.
dumps Miami.
Miami dumped Miami.
Yeah.
They dumped the coach already.
They
Thank
dumped the
God.
coach.
They did dump the coach.
They gave
so-
us some roid head tight end.
And that's
coach.
something actually we can more likely get into next week once they're off the bye week. Lamar Miller, who
Mind you, did you see the size of the coach?
Dan Campbell.
yeah, he's huge.
He's huge.
He's like six.
Is he-
He's like 6'7".
He's where did he come from?
He's a tight end. He's the youngest coach in the NFL right now. You know
Wow.
that? 39 years young.
Yeah,
You excited about it? You're a Dolphins
I'm
fan.
juice head,
I mean, it can't get worse, so you got to be
Yeah,
excited.
tomato juice head.
big time juice head.
Yeah, he's
It
intimidating.
cannot get worse.
He's
In
an
Miami.
intimidating guy, but I think
No.
with a and he was more of a blocking player. I think he may run the ball more with Lamar Miller, which will help. And again, it doesn't help anyone this week. So I mean, Lamar Miller probably put up the same points this week he put up last week on his bye week because they said they were giving him 6 carries a game. So hopefully that pans out. But
Well, I think Philbin was more of a
Philbin's awful.
He was a muppet. He was a puppet on the side. I think there were strings that were from the top skybox just moving him around. That's how old and slow and dumb and just he's just terrible. He's just horrible.
You don't like the guy, huh?
No, I don't. I think he's absolute ass.
Philbin
Who?
did bring in Laser, who was trying to run that
You're
Chip
saying
Kelly
about
offense.
Philbin, right?
Huh?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
talking about Joe Philbin.
He's old and slow. He's a coach.
Because the coach's speed is
Yeah.
now an intangible.
His 40 time was subpar.
He's just forgetting. He's like forgetful. Every time you talk to him, he just sounds like he just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Got a lot of communication with the guy.
I don't
never
know.
heard him say 5 words.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
He's slow. He's got
You
a
watch
horrible
him-
40 time.
He's
You
got to
watch
be
him-
an insider for the Dolphins.
I was the insider.
That being said, guys, it was brilliant. Before we go though, quick, I do want to hear your one little rant. We are in one league together, and you don't like the way people use certain free agents. What's your you don't like when people pick up the best player available? I want to hear your defense.
No. Here's my thing. My whole point is I don't like when other teams pick up a player to stash them where they're not going to play them just so another team can't be able where they say so they can get better. I just think that's bullshit. I think
How?
that's terrible.
That's defense.
That's-
What-
That's
It's not,
defense.
but it's not as much as defense. But if someone's a free agent, you're going to pick up the best player. It doesn't matter if you need him or not.
You never know when a player's going to get injured, a bye week, or just to prevent a team who is
And
that
you're
one
adamant-
receiver, one quarterback
I-
away.
And you're adamant about this.
Absolutely. I think it's terrible. I think it's one of the worst things ever. It annoys me.
You're getting like
To no
I've
end.
seen angry texts like
angry
"What's
text.
he picking up Hankerson? He doesn't even need him. But you never know what you're going to
Doesn't.
need. For all you know, Leonard Hankerson could end up by the end of the year being one of the top 10 receivers, and he will need him.
This is going to be the second week in a row he's not playing him. Where we would have picked
Doesn't
him up
matter.
and start. See,
He-
when I go into who am I going to pick up this week? It's who am I going to pick up to stick in my lineup to fucking start, not to sit for 4 weeks and then all of a sudden, oh my guy got hurt, so I'm going to stick Hankerson.
Yes,
like
that's
hey asshole.
you
No,
always pick up the
that's not how it
best.
works.
You pick up the best
BPA.
available
Oh my god.
in
BPA.
order
I think
to.
it's terrible. Whatever you are going to say is just it's not going to make any
Now
sense.
we don't have enough time for you to hear your response, but tweet us or write us on Facebook. Do what you got to. I want to hear your reaction. What do you think about Dante's his feelings towards free agency? Where if you don't need him, you shouldn't get him. You should leave him for everybody else to get better and challenge you. I think it's the worst argument. The worst argument.
Grow
I've
some
ever heard.
balls. Grow some balls.
All right, guys. It's been a pleasure as always. Check us out next week. SGShow.net right here. Fantasy Football Show. And don't forget Mondays. Every Monday, 9 o'clock, same channel. The weekly show where we break down everything. We'll have some baseball playoffs for you. Hopefully not another Eagles loss to talk about next week. I enjoyed having you guys. I appreciate it. Come back again soon. His mic got cut. Cut his mic. Have a good night, guys.